Hey neighbors, Happy New Year. The numbers are in for Breakfast Point for 2019. I'm Craig Duran with the Duran Group over at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services. I want to give you a quick update on the market, where it has been, where we think it may be headed. A lot of information here, so I'm going to get right to it. First of all, right below the video here, there's a link that you can click to see every sale from 2019 in Breakfast Point. You can click on each individual sale and see the interior photos that were posted, so you can start to compare, see what was selling for what price, and do your own comparisons. If you've seen any of these market updates before, you know I'm a big fan of this chart. This chart shows us three very important things about the overall market, the Breakfast Point market. This first one we're going to look at represents all of the homes in Panama City Beach priced between $250,000 and $500,000. It's a good comparison for Breakfast Point, similar price range. So if we look at the overall market, the red line here again represents the number of homes for sale. Since November of 2018 or so, we've been creeping up, having a few more homes for sale month over month. Not a lot, but you can see the line. We've been adding homes for sale pretty consistently since November of last year. The black line represents the number of closings, and you can see that in January or so of 2019 up through July, that actually trended upwards a little bit. Overall, it's pretty flat for the year, which is a good sign. There's still good, healthy demand in this price range. You know I'm a big fan of the months of inventory number. Remember, months of inventory, 5 months or so represents a neutral market. Anything less than that is seller market territory. Homes sell faster, homes multiple offer situations are happen, homes sell for over the asking price, things like that, when you're in seller market territory. Back in 2018, early middle 2018, this market was very much in a seller's market. If you look at all these numbers, 1 and 2 months of inventory. We've slowed down a little bit as that red line, as we've added supply to the market, we have more homes for sale. Demand is staying pretty steady, so the market's cooling off a bit. Last few months, we've got into neutral market range from seller market range. You would expect to see some things like homes sitting a little longer on the market for sale, maybe not quite as much appreciation this year as we've seen in a couple years past. A few things, if anybody's selling, a few things will be that much more important. Pricing will be very important. Condition and presenting the property for sale, marketing, all those things. The fundamentals of real estate, I think, will be very important. If we look at Breakfast Point specifically, I broke this down into two different charts for us. First of all, it is just the resale. So this is anything built really before 2017. I probably could have gone into 2018 at this point, but this is going back for anything built before 2017. Not as much data to analyze. Similar trend, if you look at this red line, here was the inventory back in the early 2018. It jumped up a little bit, just like in the overall market. But you can see this black line, if you sort of follow that, there are plenty of sales going on. And back to our months of inventory number, it's just been a really, really strong market in Breakfast Point for some time. If you put the overall market into it, it gets pretty interesting. This is new construction and resales in Breakfast Point. Again, the red line represents the number of homes for sale, and you can see as the builders have been selling out of inventory, there are just less and less and less properties available for sale. Look at the black line. Demand is good, maybe even creeping up a little bit. And now look at where we are. Demand actually is outpacing what's available for sale. So like you would expect, this market's actually speeding up a little bit. We were 6, 7, 8 months of inventory middle of 2018, probably because some of the builder listings were put into the MLS early in construction, so it looked like they took 6, 7 months to sell, when really, in fact, they were under contract that whole time. But look at where we are now. I mean, very, very, very strong market in Breakfast Point. There's a lot of demand here. There's not much for sale. The only thing I think people have to be a little bit careful about is overshooting the price too much. As you can see, remember, the overall market's flattening a bit. So pricing is probably going to flatten a bit. Breakfast Point still may have some room to run up and appreciate, but it's going to be tempered by the overall market, I think. Ran a few things for you. This is looking at fourth quarter of 2017, so we can just kind of look at what's happened appreciation-wise for the last couple of years. Look let's just look at a couple square footages. This is probably like a 2,516 square foot plan. It's probably like the Tracewood floor plan. Selling for $394, $397 back at the end of 2017. Moved up to $407, $427 at the end of 2018. Here at the end of 2019, we had sales $432. We actually had one third quarter hit $465. So that gives you some sense. We've just had really steady appreciation in Breakfast Point. Be interesting to see this year with the builder supply dwindling. We might flatten out a little bit. We might not appreciate as much this year, but we certainly have a lot of demand in the market. So it gives you kind of some sense of what's going on in Breakfast Point. Again, click on the link below if you want to see all of the sales. You can really compare your square footage with some of the other square footages that are selling. Most of you are already signed up for the e-alert system. If you're not, shoot me a text to 850-527-0221. We'll set you up. Again, the e-alerts, anytime a house comes up for sale, goes under contract, changes price or sells, you'll get notified. And really easy to set you up on that. Hope you find this helpful. We'll give you an update. We're working on 3 different sales right now. 2 aren't quite out to the market yet. One's already out there. We'll give you another update beginning of February, let you know how January's gone. So far, what I'm seeing, it's been a little quiet through the holidays, which is not unexpected for the time of year. But in the investment market, vacation rental market, that market was pretty steady through the holidays, which is a pretty good sign that we would expect that the residential market is going to be right there and be solid as people are getting back to work this week. Our kids are getting back to school, things like that. Really expect the residential market to do well. In fact, I read an article yesterday that talked about the spring market. Because of the lack of inventory, the lack of homes for sale, the spring market actually may start early this year. So again, good demand in Breakfast Point. If you are thinking about selling in 2020, there's some major rule changes with our local MLS system and the national realtor system regarding coming soon. We've been doing coming soon marketing for a couple of years now. There are now some rules and regulations in place. There's some really cool things you can do to take advantage of that. So if you are thinking about selling, you might want to get ahead and start the process a little bit sooner, because there's some really fun stuff you can do in the marketing side with coming soon now. You guys have any questions, of course, remember, shoot me a text, email anytime. Happy to help. Hope you guys found this informative. We'll be in touch next month. Thanks.